Hello, my most amazing artists. Hopefully you've already finished painting both of your emojis with those complementary color backgrounds. You don't have any of that white paper showing. Hopefully we already have that done. If not, that's going to be the first thing you do today. But the problem is if you have a wet painting, it's going to be hard to do the next step. So if you do have to finish watercolor painting, I will absolutely give you time to do that. But make sure you're not using too much water if you don't have to. We don't want to get the papers too wet so that we can turn them over and do the next step to make our Agamograph. I did find out it's called Agamograph, not Agamograph. So to do that, to make that 3D popping Agamograph, we have to do some math. Yes, we have to do some math in art. So shocking, right? So today you are going to need scissors. You're going to need a pencil. Mine looks a little different. And you will also need a ruler. Now, I shouldn't have to remind you, but this ruler is a tool, not a toy. If I see anybody messing around with them, spinning them, or fighting with them, sword fighting, I'm going to have to take them away because I've had some broken that way. And then that means that every student in my class can't use a ruler when we need to do it in art. So make sure you're using it the right way. All right. So we need to have 1-inch marks on our paper. So that means that I'm going to mark every inch on my paper. So I'm going to go ahead, take the ruler, hold it this way. There are 12 inches if you want to measure your paper to make sure. It should be 12. If yours is a little off, it's okay. Oh, but keep in mind that that 0 starts a little bit after the ruler, so that's why it's not really off. All right, so I'm going to hold that there. Make sure your 0 is lined up with the edge of the paper and your 12 is lined up. Then take your pencil and every 1 inch, you're going to make a mark. Just a little mark at the top.
That's where the next inch is. We do that all along the paper.
Right. When you have all 12 inches on there, then you're going to hold your ruler this way, and it should fit exactly 1 inch. It should fit right in there to draw a line down there. Now, this is on the back of your paper, not the front. Once you do, try to line the ruler up to make it nice and straight. Draw a line right down there. I'm going to go to the next inch, scoot over my ruler, do the same thing. You're going to do that for all 12 inches. Hold your ruler down as you're going. Because we're working on the back of the paper, we're going to start over here. I'm going to put A, because this is going to be my drawing, A or emoji A. The other one will be B. I'm going to do A1, A2, so you're going opposite way. A3, A4, A5. That's going to help you when we cut these strips, so you don't get confused. It's like a puzzle. All right, I'm going to put that aside. Won't need that right now. I'll do the same thing I did on my first emoji to this one. Making my marks at the top.
Do your best to make these really straight. Now after that, you're going to do the same thing here, starting with B1 here, B2, B3, so same thing, just using the letter B for your second emoji. All right,
All done with that, you can go back to your A and you can start cutting. When you're cutting, you're going to have to move really slowly and carefully on that line. If your cut isn't on that line, it's going to make it really difficult that when we go to glue these, it's not going to match up. So make sure you're taking your time, moving along that line. Now, I know that we are not robots, so it's going to be hard. You can't do a perfect line. Just do as close as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's a good thing that you're not a robot.
I'm happy.
When you're done cutting, there's a good chance that that's all we're going to get done today. So what you can do is pile up your A's and B's in order from B1 to B12. Try to keep them in order. Pile them up, and there will be paper clips in your bin. So you can paper clip all your B's together. You can paper clip all your A's together. That way, you don't lose any important part of your painting. So you can just stack them up really nice so they don't get lost. Put a paper clip on there, and do the same with your A's. And then you can keep them both paper clipped in your sketchbook in the table folder. That way they don't get lost. If you don't have them paper clipped, there's a good chance they could fall out. And if they're not in the table folder by the end of class, they're going to get lost. So please make sure that they get paper clipped and back in the table folder. If you don't get to this step, it'll just go in the table folder. Anything that you have that's dry. If you're painting all of class, if you need a little time to catch up because you missed a class and were absent, then you will put yours in the drying rack. You probably won't get to this step today. All right, so now you're just going to do that same thing that you did to your last paper, but you're going to do it onto this one. So that means you're going to start at your left side, and you can mark off every inch on that paper. Now this is your big paper. It's going to be double the length of your papers because you have two, and they're going to have to fit on here. So that is why it's double. It's going to be 24 inches because 12 times 2 is 24. Now, the width of the paper this way is still going to be at 9 inches because that has not changed. That will be the same for both of your papers. So make sure that you're always lining up that 0 because this ruler is a little tricky. The 0 is not actually at the end of the ruler. You do the same thing, draw your lines on your papers. This time, you're going to go left to right. You're going to go A1, B1, A2, B2, A3, B3.
A4, B4, A5, B5, B, oh, I was second to A6, B6, A7, B7, A8, B8, A9, B9, A10, B10, A11, B11, A12, B12.
Way to the end. You're going to start by folding. You're going to fold along each of the lines. It's going to be an accordion fold. So that means that you are going to fold back and forth. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to get that line there, match it up. And you can actually use your roller to help you with this if you need to use it as a paper folding tool. See that line?
And give it a good crease. You can use your fingers or your nails to really crease that line there. Then you turn it backwards. And you fold it again, this time the other way with B1. You match it up. Carefully back and forth. It's going to make an accordion. So when I go the other way, it's going to be hard because you're going to have to flip your paper back and forth. It should match up to your first one. If it doesn't, then you might need to revisit your lines and how straight you drew them. Because you're trying to match it up. Everything should match up with your A1 as you're going back and forth.
All of them a good fold and make sure they're pretty matched up. We get to start the gluing process. So you can unfold that. Now you're going to want to put your strips in order. I'm going to have my A's over here and my B's right here. I'm going to get my glue stick. What I'm going to do is on my messy mat, and of course I don't have one now. Let me get a piece of paper. You're going to take your A1 and start out. Just put a strip of glue on it. Alright. After you glue it, pick it up and stick it down to your A1. You're going to try to match it up. Now it's also important that you have it the right side up. So whatever side you wrote on that one time, make sure that's the side that you're flipping. Now if they don't line up perfectly, that might mean you made a mistake in cutting or in the folding. That's okay. Just do your best to fit it on there and stick it down. Mine didn't line up perfectly. That's okay. Give it a little massage. Then I move on to my B1. Give it a strip of glue, up and down, whole thing, and stick on the B1. Now you're going to move in that pattern with all of your strips, making sure you're putting them in the right way and getting them in that fold. You might have to flatten it out a little bit to get it to stick just right. Give it a little massage. All right, move on to your A2.